Hi all, welcome to another weekly mod and asset highlight for City Skylines. Skylines Saturday. Pretty excited for this one. I will say that I'm both excited and frustrated because of the mods that I've picked, and I've had them sort of written down, and I've been looking through them for the last week. Several of them are now on the most popular items list, so you're going to be seeing them pretty quickly on Steam. But we're highlighting two mods this week, an intersection, a recycling plant that is not the one that's in here, a different one, and then a park as well, so a unique item park. So I'm really excited for that. Some fun stuff this week. Let me know if you guys have any questions or want to see some other things, or am I missing a mod that's sort of hidden. One of the things I've been trying to do is get down deeper into where there are mods that may not be getting as much, front page attention, but it turns out that every time I do that, I pick one and then it gets front page attention. So we'll try to do better on that one next time, and hopefully you guys enjoy this week. Our first mod for today is actually not in the game, like in the playing itself, but is the Improved Assets panel by Nlight. I love this because it lets me see the visual of what all I've picked up, what assets I've picked up, so I have a clue as to what their name is, what they look like. I can go into the Steam Workshop and see them. I can click active or not, and you can also sort of sort by when it was last updated, when I last subscribed to it, I think. I'm not really sure, or who last subscribed to it, what's been active, the name of it. You can activate all, you can deactivate all, you can just pick buildings. You can pick all of them. You can pick only your death care, only your fire, etc. So I really like it. It's a very nice, quick way to see everything that you've picked out, and sort of if you want to pick out, I don't know, a theme, you want only, I don't know, old school brick-looking things, or more commercial, but everything else is fine. You can do that, and it'll all pop up. And of course, a lot of these you've seen in previous mod highlights if you've watched them. So anyway, I thought it was a nice little way to view your assets. I would like the ability to almost shrink these a little bit, but that's just me. I like seeing more at one time. But other than that, I think it's really great. A great way to see your assets. So this is the Improved Assets panel by Nlight. For the next mod this week, I've picked Better Bulldozer by Rollo. Better Bulldozer is trying to fix the fact that, you can only bulldoze one strip of road, it takes forever. Well, this allows you to say, I want to bulldoze everything. Notice it doesn't do anything, because it's buildings. But however, if I pick nodes, which include roads, it'll bulldoze those roads for me. If I pick trees, it'll bulldoze all those trees for me. And I can do multiples of those, so if I were to build, some roads out, and realize that this is the most horrible way to build a road set, I can, and I would put some trees down. Let's put some trees down real quick. Oh my god, how ugly is this? I hate it. I can go in here, I have trees and nodes, and I can bulldoze, and those will all go away. You can also use it to just bulldoze buildings. So in here I have a lot of things that I don't... Let's only do that. And it'll bulldoze all the buildings. Get them all away, because all of them were missing people. So, works very well. There are a couple things to note. It will bulldoze buildings that you're not supposed to be able to bulldoze, and it will do odd stuff. So if I set to bulldoze a building here, I can bulldoze that, but the power line is still there. I know he's updating this, so it should get better, but as a first attempt at making a bulldozer that can bulldoze more than one thing at a time, I really appreciated it. Thought it did a good job, did what I wanted it to do. Needs a little bit of work, but they all do. It's a mod, as I always say, use the mods at your own risk. They have some different functionality than you might expect, but this one, pretty nice, and will help with your bulldozing needs. So this is the Better Bulldozer by Rollo. For our third item today, I'm picking something that's a little bit silly, but I can't help it because I'm a Trekkie at heart. I'm picking the Enterprise Park, which is by ARRQHT. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that. The Enterprise Park is is a unique building that you can pick and plop down, and you'll see the NCAA. I believe this is modeled after the NCAA NCC 1701, which is the original Star Trek Enterprise. NCAA, you know, same thing. Star Trek, basketball, college. It's a nice little park, tiny park, but what it does is gives you a nice view of the Enterprise sort of in your city for a little bit more of a sci-fi feel. He's included a couple of the standard assets around it, which I think makes sense, although I'll be happy when more assets appear that you can sort of move along with. And if you notice, has a little bit of, that's the radius there, so you can see the sound radius is a decent size. Happy radius is smaller than I expect, but not too bad. Costs 45k, and you want to boldly go to the park. 25 noise pollution, no regular pollution. Gives you a little bit of a Trekkie feel to it, with the NCC 1701, I believe. I would love to have that written on here. I hope he updates it and puts in that if you can. I'm not sure what the texturing will allow, but that'll be really cool. Anyway, this is the Enterprise Park by ARRQHT. For the fourth mod today, I've picked the Celtic Knot intersection by Iridium. I really like this one. I like Celtic things, I'll have to admit, so I think it looks like it has that Celtic Knot feel. I also like it because it's a reasonably compact and square interchange. So very quickly you can put it sort of in the middle of your city, and it could be used to move traffic around. The videos I've seen and what I've played with it, I don't have, unfortunately, today a working video with it in there. I'm having some save issues, but it does pretty well. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's not necessarily an interchange, but it does exactly what you'd want. Flows the traffic, no big issues. Has the pedestrian walkways around the outside, which I like. So it works pretty well, especially in sort of a center of a dense city, but not like the main entranceway, if you will, to flow traffic through that city. I just love how the layers fit in here. The trees are put in here in the middle to make it look a little bit nicer. It feels like a proper inside city interchange, although I've never seen one this crazy. In DC, which is outside of DC, I live outside of DC, there are lots of these sort of squares without the second level, and it feels somewhat like this, either just a pure square around with some walking paths in between, or sometimes even you can drive through them. And this feels right for that, so I really do enjoy it. So this is the Celtic Knot by Iridium. Definitely a worthwhile interchange to add to your city. Finally for this week, I want to highlight this recycling plant by Java, or Javi. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. Jave. It's one, it looks pretty cool. It has a little bit of an older feel to it. Smaller plant, sort of old school, maybe a regional plant, not a full-on, like, you know, city-sized recycling plant. But what it does is let's see, even pull it up for you here. It has a capacity of 75,000 for trash. Requires some water and electricity, processes trash, can go pick it up, but doesn't produce any power. So basically what it's doing, it's cleaning the trash, getting rid of it without producing power. So it doesn't do what your incinerator plant does, which makes power, which is nice, or your landfill site by polluting. It sort of takes the trash, gets rid of it, doesn't pollute, but also doesn't give you an advantage. So it works really nice. You can see that it has quite a large sound area, so it's not going to be like the best thing for you ever in terms of sound. It does a lot of sound. In fact, the range is something like 30 noise pollution is pretty bad. But you can stick it in your city to try to help with a lot of those issues where you're worried about pollution, you're also worried about trash, and there's no good way to get rid of it. You've got to sort of dump things off in the middle of nowhere. Well, you know, like I have a forestry section here. I don't want pollution up there. And I have a farming section here. I also don't want pollution down here. So I could put a recycling plant which would help take care of that. Only has 10 trucks, so I think that's actually a little bit less. If we look, 10 trucks there. The incineration plant is 27, and the landfill is 15. And it only stores like 75,000 trash, so it's a much smaller amount than either of these guys, so you would need a lot of them. But for an out-of-the-way area or a regional area, it would work pretty well and would give you a little bit of clean trash recycling, which I kind of like. I also feel like it's not too excessive. A couple of the other recycling plants on the Steam Workshop are they're amazingly powerful, and this one is sort of your local neighborhood thing. It feels kind of right for that, so I like it a lot. I think it adds a nice little additional item to the city. I would love to see what else you can do with this kind of model. I don't think you could take all of the trash, but I don't know. I think there's some really cool things going on, of course, in the modding community as a whole, and I've said this before. It's part of the reason why I'm doing these top fives, is they're too much fun. And in particular, I think things like this here, this recycling plant, is a good example of, getting something into the game that the designers didn't really put in, but it does a pretty good job. It doesn't completely unbalance it, excuse me. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or want to see other mods highlighted, and I'll see you guys next week.